Quadrant facing off against Team Vitality, who's had quite the resurgence lately, but man, I'm all about that cash money. Let's see if they can take down Team Vitality.
The winter split will pass by you ever so quickly, and for Quadrant, they'll be more aware of that than anybody else, because Johnny, going into this, I don't want to use the phrase must win just yet, but it's getting pretty close to that already if they want to make it through to San Diego. They win this, they catch up, and will be only 3 points behind Moist Esports. Those teams are on the cusp of that top 5. They lose it, and they will only see themselves drop further back.
And this is where they had their best result in the last split. It was a grand finals run in the second regional of the fall split that had them starting themselves as one of the favorites to make the major, and a team that did eventually make the major. They've started off with a bit of a slower start this time around, falling a couple of rounds earlier in Regional 1 than they previously did in the fall. They're going to need to match that Regional 2 performance in the Winter Open, and funnily enough, they're against the team that they beat in that same regional last time, Vitality. And they're already off to a good start with Cash capitalizing on very nice pressure play set up by Ixo.
We should actually talk a little bit quickly about the last time these two teams played against each other, because it was very close. It was maybe the best performance we got out of Vitality during the last split, but still eliminated over at Champions Field in overtime by Relating Wave in that overtime. So he was the hero that came to his team's rescue in that one. Right now, in this game, it will be Cash, the player that almost everyone's got an eye on. One of the players that, despite Quadrant's rather woeful performance at the last major, still came out with a very risen portfolio to himself. Many people still talking about him from there. I'd like to get to another one and maybe right the wrong of the previous. Vitality, though, looking for back-to-back grand finals. If they're going to do it, they need to stop this man here. Cash tried for the reset, couldn't quite get it. Boost running out of premium. Relating Wave moving in. Does take over. Ixo back to the corner. And struggle to find options here. Did play for a big win. This could be dangerous. You might want to be a little bit careful about losing those challenges.
Yeah, boost steal coming through from Vitality there, but boost management looking good for Quadrant, who remain steadfast in defense. They were able to take game 1 in Regional 2 of the previous split when they played Vitality. In fact, they took every odd-numbered game in that series. Vitality's taking the even-numbered series games in that series.
I would like to add to that, by the way. That game 1 was 7-1. It was a blowout.
They've got some work to do if they're going to match that. But, you know, a win's a win. They all just want to start strong here, get their split back on track.
Yes, both of these teams already looking towards those world spots. 4 points separate them. And would you just so know it, 4 points is what's available by getting through today's round. Not a bad position to find yourself in, as Alpha off the backboard relied on less and less for the individual mechanics. Redostin back to his teammate. This is settled into a rhythm here that Quadrant will be very happy with. The offensive they're seeing, not worrying them too much. You would be unlucky to see a moment where Quadrant just have a panic in defense. It's going to look to Vitality to cause that moment. Might do it here. 0 boost now for Redostin. Does the opponents know it? It leaves it. Alpha put it too wide. But still Vitality on the offense. That was very lax, though, from Redostin, and that gives up the opportunity.
Yeah, it's Redostin pretty much this whole split who's really elevated and given Vitality that second main threat. Alpha 54 is known for his ability to 1v2, 1v3 teams, but Redostin recently has done the same thing, and every time he's up in the air, this is a scary sight for Quadrant. He's got the reset. Nice early challenge from Relating Wave. Falls to Sizen though, and the bump landed to leave the net open. Vitality score 1-1.
I do really like the way Relating Wave tried to deal with this. Went straight up, tried to meet the flip reset at the point of contact. But at that point, you're looking towards the off-ball movement, taking out the goalkeeper. Such a smart move and such trust in one another. Vitality have got themselves back into this one against a Quadrant team that are not making that many mistakes. They were forced to work for it. So now you look towards who has been having the better opportunities, the more of the ball. And you have to say Vitality, since the goal went in, are putting themselves in these positions. Cash had an argument against the post. Post does tend to win those, but he does go for a second try. And we do finally get to see the orange side of the field, but only temporarily.
Pretty consistent misplays, or not misplays, sorry, outplays coming through for Vitality, where they're able to just barely beat Quadrant to the ball in these challenges. And when they realize that they are going to match, or Quadrant are going to match them for speed, Vitality have adapted well into mid-air 50-50s as well. We saw one just seconds ago. It's not a bad wall shot there from Ixo, but nothing Vitality can't handle. After a roaring start, Quadrant have been pretty quiet. It's mainly Vitality who are the aggressor. These days, that usually means the aggressor will be the favorite. Vitality looking strong. This is not what they want, though, with Cash's dribble. You know that the flick is going to go high to the backboard. Something Indominus always delivers on.
I don't necessarily mind the way Quadrant have started this series, purely because we have seen from Vitality in previous tournaments, very recently as well, just giving away such awful goals. Well, they do overcommit, put themselves in bad spots, but that seems to have just gone out of them right now. Put themselves for the infield pass. Cash had that one first time around. Radosin looking for the backboard. Ixo does make some contact, but it looks like the last moments are going to go for Vitality. Ixo out of boost. He can't chase. Does grab 100 though. Still a bit of time to work with. Has he got the setup? In comes Cash. Back to Ixo. And that was heads up from the goalkeeper. We have overtime.
And great aerial shot by Cash. Vitality not surprised by it. Here goes Cash again. He's coming alive at the end of this game.
Much better.
Early challenges for Vitality have been pretty consistently effective, though. They're just making sure whenever Cash has got the ball, make sure you hit the ball with that first challenge. You cannot give him a mind game. If you let Cash mind game you midair, he's going to have a reset to outplay your follow-up teammate. At least if you play the ball, you force him to move the ball away from himself briefly. That's what Vitality have done. Oh, this is a big chance. It's off the bar and away. Alpha's shot down by Relating Wave. Best chance of OT. Just narrowly missed by Vitality.
Both teams, very impressive, I've got to say, for at least what they've tried in game number one. Cash now up against Alpha. That's going to bounce out in a nice position. Sizen off the ceiling. It's not going to be a follow-up Relating Wave up against Alpha. Does get a very heavy first touch. Alpha happy to not really be put under any pressure there. Back to Wave. Radosin pops the ball up. Ixo in, lays it off to Cash. Cash for the backboard double tap. You knew it as soon as he got the first hit. This had no other destination than going into the net.
Yeah, you got to get up for that. Cash is so consistent with the doubles. He's not going to miss if you give him that space. But what a pass by Ixo as well. Didn't have a lot of boost, but he still managed to lob the ball midfield for Cash, who was ready for it. Great comms by Quadrant, synergizing on that counter-attack. And it's the main man, Cash, the cannon, who has finished the job for them. It's mostly a defensive effort from him, it seems, with 5 saves to his name. What a point farm that was for Cash in game one.
I mean, we're sort of going through what we had in that one. I really appreciate from Quadrant the mid-match switch up, because for a good amount of that game, Vitality were the aggressors. They had all of the offense. Quadrant was struggling to find any sort of transition games for themselves. And it was mostly because Vitality were meeting them. We know Quadrant love to try and outplay their way out of their own half. So when you're getting met at that every single time, it gets a little bit more difficult. But on this one, and at this time around, at the very last play, a little bit of space finally opened up. And the big reminder came on through why you do not let that happen. Cash, it was automatic. The moment we saw him, it was done.
Oh, yeah. As soon as he got that first touch towards the backboard, I already knew it's a goal. He doesn't miss with the double taps. He doesn't just go for placement. He's smashed that one in, leaving no chance for the opponents. You know, I think the biggest thing that Quadrant did in this game to survive and really to look quite comfortable, even though they're under a lot of pressure, was manage their boost exceptionally well. We saw so many boost steals from Vitality, but Quadrant did not end up boost starved all that often. You know, not completely boost starved at all, because they realized that was going to be happening to them, and they managed to just hold on to what little they do have. They're Relating Wave there, just playing with the 40 he's got. This is the key against a team like Vitality. You just got to survive. You've got to understand you're going to be under pressure. You're going to have moments where you don't have a lot of boost, and just resist the urge to feather that boost trigger, like many players do, to get little bursts of speed here and there, and then quickly realizing that all their boost is gone.
Sizen wasn't able to quite catch Ixo for the bump. Here's Quadrant, the last remaining team from their group. Moisture out, Tundra were eliminated in the group stage themselves, and BDS eliminated in the round of 12. There we go. This is how you keep it going. Ixo just had to find the target. And those runaway demo attempts effective on both sides.
Yeah, Ixo is trying, or he was on the receiving end of demos from Vitality there, dodged them, and has an opening on the breakaway as Quadrant connected their own demos. So both teams trying to demo the third man of their opponents at the same time. And that will, of course, often lead to a goal. Played there by Sizen. He's got Redustin upfield. Redustin with options. Decides to first time touch it middle for Alpha, and it's in. Well, it's a very quick response from Vitality. From Sizen to Redustin, and then to Alpha to finish it off.
Cash was inside his own goal for a good 5 seconds there before that shot even came in. He was ready, he was prepared. He was not ready or prepared for something that well struck. So yet again, Quadrant take the lead. Yet again, Vitality get it back. What is the rest of Game 2 going to have for us in this huge match? I can't afford to stop reiterating this, Johnny. This is huge for Quadrant Split.
Oh, it almost is a must-win. Also, the fact they're up against Vitality, they could close the points gap that Vitality have built over them already.
Into the fight.
They can make this a 7-horse race, or maybe a 6-horse race for 3 spots, 4 spots, depending on how well Oxygen do on their half of the bracket later on today. We're all just assuming Karmine Corp are making the final or making the semis at a bare minimum. But every other team, has to remain unsafe and unsure, especially with resurgent performances from Liquid, from Quadrant, and who knows who else. You always end up with quite a lot of teams at the end of the day competing for the last 2 or 3 major spots. Every EU split that's happened so far since the Open era began.
Cash doesn't win the challenge. Still at a good spot now. Relating Wave moves on in. Can't find the demo. Happy just to displace where Sizen wanted to be. Now Alpha, is he going to go for the bump? No, Cash just dives away. Now back in. Narrowly misses the ball. Such an interesting game to see these off-ball demos. Everyone is hunting. Everyone's looking for that one moment that you can get caught flat-footed. I saw Garrett discussing this actually in your chat the other day, Johnny, about if there is a single moment that you stay still in this game, you're gone. You're instantly demoed. No time can you afford to not be in motion.
Yeah, it's the most important method for avoiding them. Oh, hold that thought.
Okay.
It's in for Ixo. Well, they've created a goal with the threat of a demo. Relating Wave is rushing into position on the back wall. Redustin was trying to dodge the demo, forgot to play Relating Wave's touch. Relating Wave has passed it down brilliantly. It's all about the pressure for Quadrant. They have been clinical, and despite Vitality's overall outpaced strategy looking pretty effective, they just cannot stop these offensive surges that Quadrant are producing.
We need to discuss very quickly as well the timing that Quadrant are doing this, because, oh, wait a minute, get to that in a second. Alpha looking for a shot. Ixo should have covered, but we didn't quite know where the redirect might end up going. We have seen teams, especially last week, Johnny, where they would go for these demo plays and they would leave their own back player completely open for a 2v1 when it didn't end up working.
Yeah.
Quadrant have not been caught there, either through just the decision-making or the timing or the positioning. Something they are doing is not leaving them open to the counter.
And that's exactly how Vitality were caught for their first goal, leaving one man in the back, just overcommitting slightly. And, you've got to do it at some point. It is the meta that we're always watching every time we watch high-level teams these days. What you'll often see, one player trying to make a play, trying to center the ball, another player going for a demo at the same time, and then the third man getting ready to move in. It's a full team offense that's required these days.
It's big.
And it's a full team offense from Quadrant today that has kept them more than in this and kept them in front. Cash had the... you stole the show in game 1. Oh, no way. Why is this in? Well, that must have been the most criminal moment in terms of boost management for Quadrant. Late Wave, he just drove too far. He had 100, but he didn't run back quickly enough. And here I am trying to compliment them for getting everybody involved in offense. Well, here, Could have used maybe one defender. Could have used someone in the net.
That's the reason why I try and keep my compliments to 2 sentences max. Gives me less time to maybe get caught out. Well, yet again, the game is incredibly close heading into the final few moments. Are we going to get ourselves a second overtime? Alpha doesn't put that one on net. To the backboard, relating wave. Time to work with. Cash also waiting in the midfield. This is how he won the last game. Couldn't quite collect the ball quite as well, but Ixo easily wins.
Whoa!
Finishes it off himself. Ixo, hat-trick hero, maybe game winner.
Massive dunk, what a recovery, but it's all about the finish here. That is a really difficult shot to pull off when you're just barely done landing on the back wall. But he snipes the angle all by himself and gives Quadrant a 2-game lead. It's going to be a demo kickoff for Vitality, trying to get things going at the end here. Another demo in the back corner. They've created a ton of volatility on the field. Looks like they're not able to capitalize just yet. Quadrant respond well.
Rodostin keeps the ball from his own side of the field, but where's the follow-up? Cash lands, and what a challenge it ended up being. That ball cannot hit the floor. It will hit the floor. Quadrant 2, Vitality 0. Both of the matches have been 1-goal games, but neither of them going for Vitality.
Yeah, you've got to call a timeout here, I reckon, if you're Vitality. It's just not quite working out for them. I think that they have called a timeout. That's the smart move, in my opinion. I don't think that strategically they're going to need to make any changes, but this is probably just about killing the momentum that Quadrant have clearly got. Like, Cash had a huge goal to win game 1 in overtime, and now Ixo and Relating Wave have combined brilliantly in game 2 to give a second game win to Quadrant. Vitality have just got to slow them down a little bit here. I think overall their game plan is fine. I think they've got what it takes. They just have to perform it to a bit of a higher level, and obviously hope that Quadrant drop off with their own level a little bit at the same time.
I mean, Quadrant just keep having some players pop off in these games. I mean, Ixo hat-trick out of this. What a game he had for himself. But as we said, Quadrant in general looked like a very solid unit, and I was questioning them coming into today. I was unconvinced. I thought that maybe their schedule looked better on paper than maybe it did when you go back and look through the games themselves. They had a win against Moist. They had a win against BDS. And you hear that and go, you know what? That's a good day for yourself. But there was that Tundra game. Just sat there, and I couldn't take my eyes off 15 minutes goalless against Tundra, the team that ended up 4th in your group. Yet, continuing to prove Rocket League is only about the next match, not about what you have been and done.
Yeah, so it's hard to gauge teams like Quadrant coming out of a group like they had yesterday, where they beat BDS. BDS have looked a bit off recently, and of course, in that series, BDS looked particularly off. So we probably didn't give Quadrant enough credit for that win because of the way that it happened. And now, obviously, new day, they're looking phenomenal against Vitality, who have, I think, in everybody's minds, been a top 3 team recently. Yeah, it was Relating Wave playmaking for the first 2 goals. Great stuff from him. And look at this last goal from Ixo, just doing it all himself. They've kind of stepped up and matched Cash in terms of offensive output here. It was all talk about Cash the carry in game 1, but Ixo and Relating Wave doing more than enough to deserve that game in game 2.
So looking over towards Vitality, you're saying you don't want to see too much change on their side. Is it just hoping that maybe some more options open up, hoping that Quadrant step down a level or 2? Or is there anything in particular you're after?
Well, okay, I don't think they need to make a change. I think they can play their style just to a higher level. And they might not make a change. They might just have used that timeout to kill the momentum of their opponents. But if there's one thing I do want to see a bit more from them, it would be just a bit more patience when they're on the ball. They've been rushing every moment this series. They're trying to go for outplays. They've probably come into this thinking they're the more mechanical team, the faster team. Just because you are faster doesn't mean you need to make every play a fast one. You're allowed to slow down the play, especially if Quadrant are backing off as much as they are.
Quadrant is half of the job done in a match that would cause pandemonium for a lot of those teams hoping to get over into that top 5. There's a lot of teams hoping that that's going to be the case, if you're a G1 fan especially. I mean, they're still loitering around that kind of area. That's going to be relatively undangerous for now. I need to reiterate, 1-goal games could have gone either way. Just moments of brilliance for Quadrant. Vitality need their own, and they need this game more than anything else. Nice pop there by Alpha. That was so deftly done. Straight to Cash. And this is the problem that you do run into when you play against Quadrant, is that if you do have a moment where you just try and get rid of the ball for the sake of getting rid of the ball, that's free for Cash. That's free for each, though.
Yeah.
They're both going to love that position.
Here's a big chance for Vitality. Radosin beaten to the punch, though. Looks like he was expecting a different kind of center ball from Alpha there. Moved up very, very close, probably calling for the drop down. That does, of course, leave you out of position when the ball bounces off the backboard, much like it has here. Sizen's pressed forward, and again, met well by the Quadrant defense. Vitality needs to be careful here. That's 2 times in a row now that they've pushed all 3 players way up the field. Quadrant have counter-attacked them a couple of times already today. Vitality would hate to see it happen again. There's no timeout left to use in the best of 7.
Back out. Starting to look very familiar to what we got in game number 1. Sizen bumps Cash and bumps oh! Well, we've seen Alpha score some bangers. This time, didn't need to. Work done by the shoulders of Sizen.
Oh, my, what a play by Sizen. He bumps the entire team off the back wall. I mean, that's why it's dangerous to push out of your net when you've got someone centering the ball like that, like Sizen there. It can be risky to push out of the net. If, Vixo just stayed inside the goal there, tucked inside the near post, it's a lot harder for Sizen to connect with them in that way. But when you queue up on the back wall like this, I mean, yeah, you're just bowling pins, and Sizen's quite happy to roll right through you. Still, exceptional play by Sizen to connect with the 2 of them, leave the net open for his teammate.
Gotta say, Johnny, plays like that give me some DreamHack Montreal vibes. And by the way, reminder everyone, exclamation mark tickets. I want to see you there.
Oh, he did it again, you know.
Oh my God, he's just going for it. He's just going for it. And what I love about those plays is that there's very little wiggle room if you're the defender. You're kind of stuck on a line. That goes off the crossbar. That will go in. Well, this is the new dynamic duo. Sizen and Alpha are ripping their opponents to shreds.
Alpha's been there for the finishes, but this is the Sizen game right now. It's been all the talk about Radosin so far this split, all the talk about Alpha for the past couple of years on Vitality. Sizen, just here to remind everybody that, he's also a part of this team that have had a lot of success recently, and he's a part of this team that look like they're contending for this regional, the team that are still contending for a major spot in a very real way. Radosin looking to join in on the action. He's denied by Relating Wave, but Vitality with a 2-goal lead here just have to keep rotating, keep their boost high. They do not want to give a breakaway to Quadrant in a moment like this. They've done so well, and they are going to continue. This time, Sizen on the score sheet. What a deserved goal that is for Sizen, who's played a fantastic game.
Well, we've talked about different metas that we've gone through, Johnny. Maybe the next meta is just going to be signing an extra player, just to hold in the background to make everyone up the level or a step or 2, because Vitality are a completely different beast to the one that we saw in the last split. Now, obviously, this is one game of the 4 that they need, but this is very much to what you were saying during the timeout. Not different, just better. Good execution. And this is the reward for it. They are running away with game 3.
Yeah, they've just been a bit more cautious moving forward. Look at moments like this. We're Quadrant. They're not challenging early. They're way back. Even 3 goals down, Quadrant are way back, waiting for Vitality to come to them. This has been a pretty consistent pattern that we've seen in all the games this series. It's why in game 1 we were saying, well, actually Vitality looked like they had most of the chances and most of the pressure in the mid-game. They couldn't get the goal lead, but they did have plenty of opportunities. And Quadrant have been quite happy to just let this happen to them. They're not fighting Vitality. They're not playing Vitality to their strengths. They're trying to expose them when they overextend. Vitality now just taking it a little bit more slow with their second man. Yeah, fair enough. Look at this kind of play. When you can't make... Yeah, when you can make one run, yeah, go for it. I mean, Sizen's shown what you can do when you're the lead attacking player in this game, setting up chances. But while that's happening, there was no second player from Vitality being extremely aggressive. They were just patiently waiting their turn. I think that more cautious approach has made them look far more consistent with their pressure. No holes, no mistakes for Quadrant to exploit in game 3.
Sizen probably doesn't want this game to end. 8 shots to his name. I don't recall a single one of them being off target. He has forced movement every single time he's taken to the air. Not even a consolation. Bounces on the goal line. And Vitality are going to make a series of this one. Quadrant now with questions to ask themselves. And the question they'll be wondering is, what was that just hit us?
Yeah, they I think, do actually need... I mean, if Vitality keep doing this and they just keep consistently pressuring without overextending, Quadrant will need to do something different. Even though Vitality were down 2-0, I think that they were the team who had the majority of the pressure, the majority of the possession. So I don't think you need to change your style. If you're already getting more chances than the opposition, then I think you're probably doing fine with your style. Quadrant, though, they are getting stuck in defense here. I'd like to see a little bit more of a fight for the midfield. If you're waiting all that time to defend your goal line, then it's just putting more distance between you and a counter-attack working. So I do want to see a little bit more life from them, a little bit more of a fight from the midfield, a little bit more aggression when they're off the ball. Also just they've got to hope this Sizen doesn't pop off like that again. Because we already know it. Redosin and Alpha have been playing out of their minds this split. If Sizen can perform like that, I think every team in Europe's got problems, not just Quadrant.
And suddenly that call of Vitality being second best doesn't sound quite so bad from, I believe Cole said that during our pre-show.
Yeah.
Maybe he knows. Maybe he knows. What we do know for now is that we require our fourth game to see if we're going to see triple match point. As Redosin, I think, managed to fake out his own teammate by putting himself in that position. Now wiped out. This is actually a good spot for the Quadrant. That's a bit wasteful, though. But they still got it. It caused chaos. And Cash can finish it.
Well, that is a bit of a fortunate play for Quadrant. Well done by Relating Wave to dunk on the goalkeeper and create the opportunity, but that was a straight-up double commit, and it's not a good double commit either, because really, that could have gone anywhere. That could easily be a Vitality counter-attack on the back of a different bounce. That's a fortunate play for Quadrant, in my opinion. They've capitalized well. They've reacted immediately to what happened. But, as far as double commits go, that's not a good one. There are good double commits, by the way, these days, in my opinion. But not when both of you are flying into the same angle past the ball in attack. Probably not what you want to be making.
Not one that you would find in the Book of Greasy. Actually, no, I've seen Greasy play.
No, you would.
One that you would find in the Book of Greasy.
That's a perfect example of a Greasy double commit back in the day, I'd say. But yeah, he's a prophet. When you're defensively double committing, you sometimes just get more coverage, and that's what you'll see a lot of teams at the top doing these days, especially Gen G in North America. Ton of defensive double commits, but with immediate recoveries and more coverage, why not? You're actually just giving yourself a better chance to cover more options.
So Quadrant up by 1. They have looked reasonably comfortable in these sort of positions, just not a team that likes to chase the game. That being said, not many of these one-goal leads have stood. Oh, go low, and that's going to be up to the first one who gets there. Is Alpha yet again. What a challenge. Just killed it dead on the line.
Great strike by Redosin, and it was enough to cause Quadrant to panic. He just needed a bit of an earlier challenge there. No one went until it was too late. And the ball didn't bounce kindly for them this time. So, if they got a nice bounce in offense, I guess that's karma there, because this is bounced very poorly for them off the back of that 50. Stayed in front of the net for Vitality to equalize. Fair enough. A clean reset. Can Redosin break the deadlock? No. Cash with a good read. Again, back into that pocket where Vitality are pressuring. Can Quadrant break out of this?
And Vitality looked very happy to send everybody. Not all that worried about getting caught out. Not even really respecting the individual outplays there from Quadrant. As Redosin, what a setup!
What?
Oh, his second touch ruined it! Well, it looks amazing. Maybe it wasn't quite what his teammates were expecting either, and now the play is just dissolving. Vitality's still trying to put something together. They double commit in the corner.
Whoa.
That one's not going to go in. Johnny boy, I have no idea what I'm looking at.
I think Quadrant are quite lucky to get away with no goal being scored against them here again. This is bounced very favorably for them, but you make your own luck in Rocket League. There is no RNG in this game apart from where you spawn on kickoffs and where you spawn after you get demoed, and none of that's been happening. So this is still for all to play for here. I've got to say, someone someone on Vitality, Sizen and Alpha, both jumped, assuming that Radosin was going to miss with his big solo play. If someone had just stayed grounded, it would have been the best pass of the whole weekend from Radosin there, because it was unbelievable. He outplayed everybody with his setup. It was open for his teammates. Unfortunately, they both assumed he's going to miss. I think it's fine for one of them to do that, cover the miss, but when you're both in the position, what are you? Come on, put some trust in Radosin. He's definitely got the mechanics, clearly, to hit that pass.
Right, well, we're hitting the tail end now of this game. Infield to Radosin!
Oh!
Massive! Absolutely massive for Vitality.
Oh, what a pass by Sizen. What vision to just blindly launch that over his shoulder. Find Radosin behind him in the middle. Great comms from the French team. I think they probably deserve this one. Well, Radosin definitely deserves this one. Deserves, I should say, with the way he's been playing. Can Quadrant answer? They've been up against it for most of the series. They've been in defense for most of the series. Still looking like it could end up even after this game. But do they have another gear to go to? Do they have another style that they can throw to Vitality and try and surprise them with? Because so far it's just been more of the same. And Vitality are the team who have adapted well and are starting to play their game to a higher level.
And it is now role reversal. Vitality have been in this position where going into the final few moments they've needed to try and score. Quadrant have not.
Oh, wow.
Not able to get anything that time around. Have Vitality got it in them to just hold out? 34 seconds left. Ixo with Relating Wave, who did jump as well, goes back down. Not much coverage gained. Nowhere Cash wants to see that ball, especially in a position where he can't really control it for the outplays. Ixo, midfield, Relating Wave gets there late. Bob, though, does come through. Time running out here. Quadrant need to find a goal.
It's looking pretty dire for them. Vitality are at full speed, shutting down every opportunity they have. This is going to be the last one. It's a nice bounce for Cash to play with, but surely Radosin is just hitting the ball here. Indeed he is. Hold on, middle it goes. It's a pre-jump save necessary. Alpha denying the final second opportunity, confirming the series tie. Vitality they got their pop off, and finally we see what happens when you sit back in defense and let Radosin come at you, let Sizen come at you, and make their big solo plays. It's not going to be fun. And yeah, timeout Quadrant has been called. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's what we expected in this situation. Do they have another game plan to go to? I think, earlier on I said it, I don't think Vitality need to change anything too drastically. I don't think the same is true for Quadrant. I think they might need to figure out some way to start fighting for that midfield more than they are currently. Being on the back foot like this just is not comfortable against a team like Vitality, who've got so much when it comes to solo playability.
Can I
all three players
out, by the way, just how happy I am to see the two coaches that we have got on either side of this. Snasky versus Farah up on the coaching side. Obviously, Farah doing some incredible work since he came in, but Snasky, he's been working away at this coaching stuff for quite a while now. And you've seen the improvements that he's made. He's going to need some big calls now to get his team back on track here, Johnny. Yeah,
and a bit of history, of course, between Snasky and Farah as well. They were, of course, teammates at Season 3 RLCS, finishing 4th place together on a team called Leftovers, which was appropriately named since no other teams wanted them. And their teammate Siki at the time, they just decided, well, nobody wants us, let's team up together. And they got 4th at the World Championship. Some legends of the Rocket League scene behind the current players that we're watching. It's all about Quadrant now. Can they find a more aggressive mode to go into? I really think that's the winning solution here. Just really fight for that midfield, just go for it. Vitality are, I think, the more mechanical, more quick team, but you're not going to beat them at their game. You've got to go out and try and put them out of their comfort zone here.
It's something now that has got a little bit more weight to it. When we were discussing about how Quadrant do seem to struggle a little bit when they are playing from behind, and now you get a result like that one come in, and it just sort of reiterates that even more. Quadrant play very well. The style that they play is great for maintaining a 0-goal record, but as soon as that goes against them and they've got to chase, then it's got a little bit more iffy for them. They're struggling to find those sort of gaps and not getting the outplays. Cash is being met first time on every single touch. He is not getting the space that he would want to see for his particular style of play. And how do you get that sort of space? Well, you play better elsewhere. You cause problems elsewhere, where that goes towards the back of the mind of Vitality. We do now have the first 2 games for Quadrant, the second set of games heading for Vitality, who is going to match point. Relating Wave would like that to be Quadrant.
Oh, you know, I didn't even get a chance to say, I reckon that Quadrant's intentions will be most clear based on where Relating Wave is on the pitch. If this guy's in defense, it's a bad sign. You need to get everybody forward these days, and that's exactly where he was here. Pushed up all the way at the far side of the box to score the opening goal. Quadrant, when they look their best recently, it's not just the Cash show. You need to get the full team into that offensive rotation. We're past the point of Rocket League's history where one player can just completely 1v5 an entire series. Maybe a game, sure, not a series. And Relating Wave and Ixo have shown that they can be more than effective in this team. Already, I think, exceeding expectations of many with how well their season has gone so far. But that's just risen their own bar of expectations. They want more. They want another major qualification. They want another deep run in a regional. You got to remember, this still could be it. They could give themselves such a good start. We're just into a best of 3 now, and they've gotten the opening goal.
And for Relating Wave, it's all about getting rid of the narratives around him. There is nobody that questions what he's capable of online. It's the online portions of his seasons that have maybe come under scrutiny, and that one will certainly require a look back as to how that didn't go over the line. Dosen moves on in. Not much for it, and this is the position Quadrant like to find themselves in. For all of the complaints we had going into this game, Johnny, many of them don't apply when Quadrant are in the lead. They don't have to chase this game anymore. They can wait for the opportunities to present themselves.
Yeah, this is another test for Vitality.
Oh dear, Cash it. Good shout.
They have come back from behind already, and they might hear Ixo scrambling to get the ball clear. Now Alpha going to try and go solo, using the pass as bait there. Defenders did not fall for it. Vitality still creating a plethora of chances with every minute that goes by. It's a dangerous time to be a Quadrant player. They've got to survive for 3 more minutes. I think that's really all they can do right now with how well Vitality have been playing. Oh, look at this. Gone. Surely, you've got to think that's going to be attacked more quickly. Sizen jumped very slowly for that. It was a 1v2 outplay by a backflip pop from Alpha. Not often you see that.
Dosen with Alpha looking for it on the backboard. Vitality sent everything here, and I do believe that the boost totals have started to run low. A couple of boost steals as well. So now it will be up to their opponents. And that booming clear certainly helps quite a bit. Relating Wave wins the race to the ball. Cash looks for a Dosen. Managed to just leap over the top of the oncoming challenge. Now Quadrant with a good position to find themselves in. Putting the ball back to the corner. Alpha goes early. Did not want to come under pressure on that goal line. 2 minutes left. 1-0 still the difference.
Yeah, that's a chance for Quadrant to double up. Vitality's boost ran pretty low there. And now they're right back into the swing of things. Maybe a bit too heavy of a touch to the backboard. They collect it again. Just have so many opportunities, so many different angles to approach the Quadrant goal from. As Alpha tried to fake this, well, Quadrant double up, and either Alpha has tried to fake this, or he's just missed it. I think he probably just missed it because he power slid into that ball. Well, that is bizarre. He was going for a very precise, a very slight cut, but he just understeered. He just simply missed.
I don't really have much else to add to that, really. You just see what these players are capable of on the field. It's not really something you expect to see. It has happened. It's very bizarre. Dosen might be able to put that one to the back of the memory. But Quadrant are not as comfortable as they were hoping for. And it's that guy against Sizen really stepping up in this series.
Yeah, Sizen hasn't really had to do too much heavy lifting in offense. in most of the series they've played this split, but this one he has. He's been the playmaker a lot of the time. He's been scoring goals at important moments. And Alpha 54, the perpetually consistent pop-off player for Vitality, has completely blundered in this game. They're going to be down 3-1 here. This is a well-worked play from Cash. Air dribbling over Sizen, and then threatening Radostin with the flip reset. Not the clear Radostin was hoping for. Straight down the middle. And Quadrant back in front by 2. I think with the way the Vitality have defended, that's not too surprising.
I think what is surprising for me, though, is how Quadrant positioned so aggressively to get that second goal back up. Slight shift from them, happy to send more to get that comfort back. Here is Cash for the reset. Alpha again meets him as early as possible, and that has at least remained consistent throughout this series. Quadrant have managed to right some wrongs. They can go a few more seconds without conceding, which, when you've got the ball on Cash, usually feels like a certainty. Cash to Ixo. Vitality had to play for some big wins, and they lost in a massive way.
Yeah, you can't really blame Vitality for going there. You have to send it when you're down by 2 with 30 seconds left, when Quadrant are on the ball. It does lead to another goal against them, but really the problems were earlier on in the series. You know, very precise touch attempted in defense from Alpha, completely missing. It's one of the problems with going for precision touches in defense. You know, if you're in attack and you miss that, it's fine. Sometimes it's just going to mind game the defense more than get you in trouble. But when you're the last man, you cannot afford to make that misplay. Looks like we will get one. Okay, now the fact that we go back to a kickoff at 2 goals makes this somewhat winnable. Vitality need to bring out a kickoff strat like they did on Forbidden Temple. If they can catch Quadrant with a demo kickoff, they've got a small chance of coming back here. But they are going to need to do something like that. I think fake kickoff is probably going to be too obvious. What are they going to go for? Oh, they try, but yeah, Ixo's too smart to fall for that. He hits it sideways intentionally. Didn't want to pass it straight to the goalkeeper. Credit to Vitality for trying something, but it's a bit obvious when you're 2 down with 13 seconds left, isn't it?
So, double match point over for Quadrant. Smaski's words of wisdom coming in big. And after the timeout, they continue the legacy of the timeout buff.
What do you think Smaski told him? Do you think he said, oh, it's fine, let's just keep playing our game and wait for Alpha to completely miss the ball in defense?
Yeah, let's be honest, we know Smaski. He probably turned around and just went, yeah, Alpha's not very good at this. I genuinely believe that is something that Smaski would say.
I think they did fight a bit more for that midfield like we were hoping. Starting off the game with a relating wave goal, it was the perfect opportunity for them to just settle the nerves and kill a bit of that Vitality momentum, because you're going to need everybody. You can't just rely on Cash to be your midfield pressure. You need to do it as a team. Relating Wave and Ixo, the best games they've played so far have been the game we just saw and the game in Forbidden Temple, where they were aggressive. They were just pushing up, playing their part in the offensive rotation, trusting Cash to also be a pretty good defender as well. You know, he gets most of his praise for his offensive plays, but with how well he sits back as third man, I think it can be a confident thing for Relating Wave and Ixo to press on.
Oh, look for the bump. Has left Cash by himself against Radostin. Cash dealt with that somewhat well, but maybe they just want the play to speed up. Realised that player advantage whilst they had it. A bit of a fight in the midfield, all the way to the side. Radostin chases. He's got Ixo to contend with. Tries to just see the ball over to his opponent. His first goal is going to be massive as we go off the backboard, and Cash gets there in time. Now Cash on the chase. Can he get a demo? Instead decides to leave it. He's going to steal some boost instead. Keeps the play up and running, and we are back and forth all over the place here, Johnny. We've got a lot of games where we've been stuck on one side of the field for a long period of time, and then we get the double punt away from the field. Now it's off the backboard. Wait a minute, it's all over the place. And they still kept it out. Well, okay, this opening minute has been the way it has been.
That is an unbelievable save from Radostin. He had to fly onto his own backboard after missing the initial touch, and then dove downwards to post pinch it across his own net and to safety. The fact that he managed to get that ball to bounce to a safe location is beyond belief. Keeping Vitality in the series, Radostin's defense completely steals the show.
Well, hopefully these teams have now settled down a little bit. It doesn't seem that way. Alpha just fakes out going for the initial hit. Ixo to relating wave, and Tyson understood the danger he was under. Redosin to Alpha. Not that much power on that hit, though. Ixo doesn't control it as well as he should have done. And now Ixo and Cash have both got relating wave. Demoed. First one to it is Cash. He managed to recover just in time. Oh, dearie me. Whoever loses this is going to be very upset with themselves.
There we are.
This game is everywhere.
And that was a great chance for Vitality, but no one had boost. This is a better chance for Cash. It's defended well again by Alpha, but not well enough, it would seem. As the ball falls to relating wave and it's in. Well, that time he got the first part right. The ball was saved, but the clear left a lot to be desired. Alpha in an attempt to knock it into his own corner. Miss hits it. The Sizen panics. Misses his touch as well. And that's, in fact, Quadrant with the 1-goal lead. They are taking it to Vitality in the playoffs in a second regional for the second time this season.
And they might be able to keep up in the race to go to San Diego. This would take them up to 17 points on the split. We're going to know teams like Team Liquid have managed to pull away a little bit. They will play Team Liquid in the next round, should they be able to finish the job here. Tyson off the backboard. Oh, he's got the second touch. Everybody ends up jumping. Pulls away from the net. Vitality are off on the hunt. 2 minutes to work with, and they need a goal.
Yeah, I think Vitality are outplaying Ghosts right now in offense, though. A lot of these races to the ball are not necessary. Quadrant have just taken their time with a lot of their defensive touches. Vitality have got time. They don't need to panic just yet. 2 minutes remaining. All they need is 1 goal. Their offensive output has been spectacular over all this series. Just another slight defensive mistake getting them in trouble for the second game in a row.
He's got Styles on the far side. Vitality for a lot of bumps, but they're missing every single one of them. That coupled with some other mistakes, you would not be shocked to see a 2-0 deficit. Another bump, Ixo easily recovers afterwards. Vitality will only need the 1. Sizen moves in off the side. Cash, oh, he's just going to take his time. Come over, Redosin, if you dare. I'm going to pop that ball past you. That's even more time off the clock. Although Cash did kind of jump and achieve nothing on the second time around. 1 minute. Quadrant looking at another semi-final. Here's Redosin.
Oh, my. Well, again, attempted precision touches from Vitality. Missed. And this time, luckily for them, it's in offense, so they're not going to immediately concede. They need a goal. That 2 minutes has become 45 seconds. Can Alpha 54 redeem himself? He's had a bit of a howler the past 2 games, especially by his impeccable standards. We always just assume he's going to show up and do his thing. These 2 games are games he'd rather forget unless they can get a late game comeback here. Just 30 seconds now remaining. As Quadrant continue to advance towards that grand final, or semi-final, I should say.
Alpha reset.
Oh,
what to go! Relating wave! Too strong, too solid, but they're still up against it. That's wasting the opportunity. The ball just loitering in positions that you cannot make anything happen for Vitality. Sizen flips it. Over to Redosin, who was on the wrong side of the ball. This is their last opportunity. Cannot let the ball hit the floor. Sizen back up. He's got Ixo to contend with.
Oh, my.
Ball's still alive, though.
Well, boost is a premium for Quadrant, but this is such a tough position for Vitality, and it's another miss. I mean, an attempted pop into the midfield there, I think sums up how the last couple of games went for Alpha 54. Vitality are out, and Quadrant advanced to the semis.